But we feel like we're just absolutely under attack, and this kind of message is going to make race relations much worse. How do we help? What do we do without playing into the evil of Marxism?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, this is one of the things that really bothers me about this. I've been on social media since the 22nd of May, but these messages have been out there for years. I've been talking about this for years, and have really been frustrated with this and with the way that the attacks come. I've been trying to talk about this from the perspective of the big picture. And unfortunately, when you talk about it from the big picture, people tend to think, oh, you just don't have empathy. You just don't have compassion. You just don't understand how bad it is. Me, who grew up in drug-infested, gang-infested South Central LA, born in 1969, grew up during the crack era, grew up during the crack wars, if you will, raised by a single teenage Buddhist mother. I wasn't raised in Christianity, never heard the gospel until I got to university. And so for people to try to marginalize me because I don't understand, I've been pulled over by the cops. I've been down on the sidewalk because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I know these kinds of things happen. And yet I still say that these ideologies are poisonous and they have to be confronted, because these ideologies actually undermine our message as Christians. I'm concerned about people. I'm concerned about justice. I'm concerned about souls. And I know where this stuff comes from. I understand where it comes from. And I am not willing to lay down my Bible and have anyone force me to agree with certain things simply because if I don't, they will somehow label me and call me names. I couldn't care less about people labeling me and calling me names. I know who I am before God. My conscience is clear. And so I'm worried about this like you. I'm also an American who, as an expat in a foreign country, I've been to dozens of countries in the world. And there's two things that I know. Number one, Black people in America are the freest and most prosperous Black people in the world, period, bar none. The second thing is this: people outside of America think that we are the most oppressed people in the world. And people actually think that things like George Floyd are happening every day, that they're not an anomaly, but that they're commonplace. And the reputation has outside of our borders, it sickens me and it saddens me, but also the reputation that Black people have, that somehow we are weak and impotent and that we can't do or be anything unless white people do it for us, which, by the way, is kind of racist. I believe that by race, I am a descendant of some of the strongest people in the history of the world. We overcame slavery. And now we're bowing and scraping like we need somebody to do something for us. Our individuality is at stake. Our self-pride is at stake. And our trust in God as the answer and solution to our problems is at stake. And so for me, this is a very complex issue, but it's one that I'm very passionate about.
I will tell you that I am struck by the first time I went to Israel, and I honestly didn't know much about the politics of the region. And I was walking down the street in the old city, and there's a place where the Palestinian section stops. It's just one street, one place. It's just an archway that separates the Jewish quarter from the Palestinian quarter. And you walk through it, and one is dirty and dingy and dark, and the other is light and bright and clean. And you are within 5 feet of both of those things. And it struck me that one side just says, I don't care what anybody else says, I'm doing this. And the other side has been told for so long it's because of them. They're stopping you, and I'm the only one that can help you. And it stifles growth. I think the black community has been lied to by the progressive movement really almost since Booker T. Washington died. I mean, they were lied to before that, but when Booker T. died, there was a shift from we can do this. We don't need anybody. We can do this. And it's been this constant battle of no. You're being oppressed even now. You don't even know it. And you'll never get out unless these people. My dad used to say to me, life isn't a series of things that happen to you, Glenn. Life is what you do with those things. And that's the most depressing thing about the message that's coming out of Black Lives Matter is you're oppressed. You'll never be able to do anything about it unless these people are gone. Well, there's no empowerment in that.